Hello, everyone. This is Brenda of Love's Inner Voice, and I have a beautiful speaker with me today by the name of Audrey Seymour, and we'll get more into that later. But let's just do our deep heart breathing. Let's breathe in light and love from whatever source you breathe in. And as we breathe out anything from your body that you want to let go of. And let's do that 3 or 4 times. Breathe into your heart, into your lungs, into your body as deep as you can. And breathe out anything you're willing to let go of right now into that light and love. Let's do that 3 more times. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Oh, so wonderful. Thank you all for being here to see our show and to participate in our show of Live Life on Purpose, because that's what we're here for. And I would love to introduce Audrey. She and I had such a nice visit earlier in the week, and she's co-authored an upcoming book, which she can tell you about later, calling True Purpose. Unleash the power of the person you are meant to be. That's what we're all here for, right? That's what Love's Inner Voice for me is all about. And she's the founder of a Clear Change group and a software development manager. Isn't that an interesting dichotomy? So tell us a little bit more about you and your focus and the foundation of your wisdom process.
Well, I always loved the big questions. Like when I was little, I loved looking at the stars and the vastness of the sky and wondering what's really like out there. And so that's always driven me. Um, but I found math a lot of fun. I studied that in school, and that's what led me to software because it's a very natural first career for a person into mathematics. So I was a software development manager and lead engineer. But there's very intense deadlines and pressure in that world. And I started to develop all sorts of repetitive stress injuries, carpal tunnel, tendonitis, pinched nerve in my neck. But I was used to just push through the pain, right? Push through the pain. But the doctor said my next step was to fuse my neck. And so I said,
Ew.
oh, I'm not going there. But I panicked, like, what am I going to do? I'm leading a major part of a multi-million-dollar project. If I stop, they're going to blackball me. I'll never find work in that industry again. So it was a really hard time for me, just not knowing what to do. Couldn't think of anything to do. But very fortunately, a friend of mine had a training company and he lost his business manager. So he said, come work
Mm.
for me, help me run my business. And then he wanted an internal coach. So he sent me to coaching school. Well, long story short, I fell in love with coaching. So I hired somebody to train and take over that job and gradually built my coaching business. But I was starting to work with people in transition, but I kept feeling there's got to be something deeper. I was missing something, didn't know what to do. And that's when I met Tim Kelly, the founder of the True Purpose Process. And when I met him, it was like a gong going off in my soul. I have to work with this man. There's something deeper here that I need. So I joined forces with him and we created the True Purpose Institute with a couple other people. And then one of our main teachings was the True Purpose Coach training, where we teach coaches how to take clients through this True Purpose method. One
Nice.
one thing that's special about this method is we connect people with their own voice of inner wisdom to learn their purpose. And that inner wisdom can be depending on their worldview, their belief system. They might believe something inside of them would know their purpose, like their soul, their higher self, intuition. Or they might believe that God or the universe or great spirit would know their purpose. Or they might believe that it's something personal, like a guardian angel or a power animal. But that's how I got introduced to my own inner wisdom, which totally changed my life.
It does that, doesn't it? When we
Yes.
start listening to our inner wisdom, and for me, my connection with the divine
Mm,
and creator, whatever name, that loving energy doesn't have a name. We give it
yeah,
names.
we just give it a name.
But for me, it's loving energy and light because
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
it feels like in my body. And when I'm writing my books and when we were talking, that's sort of what it feels like to you too.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so what is it that you would like to share with, tell me a little bit more, a little deeper dive into that work, that two-stage true purpose work.
Oh, okay. Well, in thinking of opening up to a voice of inner wisdom and learning their higher purpose, people have all sorts of doubts and fears.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
how do I know it's a trustworthy voice I'm hearing, or what if I neglect my family? So we do spend some time addressing all those fears that would block that channel to that open light. Because the subconscious is afraid and it doesn't feel safe, it'll block that connection.
right.
So we have a way of helping address those fears. Like if someone says, well, how do I know it's a trustworthy voice I'm hearing? We have a checklist. Wise wisdom voices have a certain feeling tone, a certain agenda, that they're not in a rush, they're not in a hurry, they're not judgmental. It's vast, spacious, loving. So there's a whole checklist for that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Or someone might be afraid, well, what if I neglect my family when I live my purpose? Well, they can just make a commitment. I'm going to spend weekly quality time with my family. I had a fear
Yeah.
like, what if I go crazy and off the rails? But then the agreement I made with myself was I have at least three people that believe in what I'm doing. And that calmed myself down. So I was able to listen to my inner voice of wisdom.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah. And
I
then once
love
we
that.
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so then once we clear that space, we need to connect them to their voice of inner wisdom. And so it's a meditative process. We have a couple ways of doing that. Um, a guided meditation is a very immersive, beautiful way to do that. And it's good to do first. It makes the other methods easier. But once people are connected to their trusted source of wisdom, you can do active imagination journaling. It's a Jungian process where you chat by writing with your voice of wisdom. Some
Mhm.
people will ask in their dreams about purpose, though that's a difficult one. Not many people can make that work.
Yeah,
Or
right.
some people just have their own version of prayer and do two-way prayer to learn their wisdom, learn their purpose. And then we help them create four types of purpose. There's the
Mm,
being part, which is the essence of you. And then
hmm.
there's the transformational impact you have on others. Like you might create confusion to clarity or fear to love or, anything like that. There's some impact you have on others that you don't even realize because you're so used to it. But people are drawn to you because you have that impact and you've done it your entire life. And then there's the
That's
life mission,
hmm
and then wisdom you're meant to share.
that's really beautiful
Yeah.
because, and there's so many different ways that we can share. We
Hmm.
can share just by walking down the street and saying hello to somebody, whether you know them or not.
Yeah, your essence comes through and they feel
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And they don't know what the gift they got, but they feel the
Mm-hmm.
caring and the love, and you can just continue on walking on. And I got a sense of the reason behind the living purpose and why it's so important for all of us. Because for me, the thinking part is like a merry-go-round. I can get stuck on
Yeah.
the merry-go-round. And we
Yes.
talked a little bit
Yes.
about this,
Yes.
the merry-go-round of whatever thinking, emotion, feeling that we're in, where we don't feel safe being off of it. We feel better,
Hmm.
thinking this way or feeling this way and acknowledging and living a life purpose. Sometimes we still get on that merry-go-round.
Yeah, that's part of being
And
human.
right. And one of the things that you shared is about the being the curious and looking at well, where am I now? And is this part of my life purpose? So if you could speak a little bit more about living it day to day, that would be great.
Well, when you're on purpose, you're in that flow. You feel synchronicity, you feel joy, you feel passion. As opposed to being off purpose, it feels like you're pushing uphill or pushing
Hmm.
upstream. But it's important to distinguish between, is it not your purpose and you're just pushing against resistance, or are you actually having to stretch to grow to live your purpose more fully? Because the
Hmm.
ante keeps getting up to where you've lived at a certain level and then you need to live at the next level. And so one of the ways it's easy to tell if you're on purpose or not, or you're going toward purpose, is that you have a mixture of fear and excitement. Whereas if
Ah,
there's no
yeah.
excitement and joy in the mix, then it's probably not your purpose.
Well, that makes sense. Thank you for saying that. And, we talked about acronyms, and, I love acronyms. And one of the best ones for me about this is the joy of being. That's our job.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Acronym for job is joy of being.
Oh, I
And
love that.
that's really our purpose, is to walk in the joy of being who
Mm,
I am without
hmm.
comparison to anybody else,
Right.
because we're all uniquely beautiful individuals and
Hmm,
we
hmm.
all have a unique purpose. Even though some of what I share with people marries with some of what you share with people, it's a
Right.
different perspective.
Yeah, and all there's different facets of unity,
Yeah,
all the different threads of the tapestry of humanity. Each
yeah,
one is important.
yeah. I love the thought of a tapestry because
Mm.
each thread adds to the picture,
Yes,
and
yes.
the tapestry of humans is incredibly large, and there's no
Mm.
limit. It's limitless.
Yes, it's true.
And the tapestry of divine, positive, loving energy, whatever term we
Yeah,
want to call it, is even bigger than that.
yes.
And I love that you talked about the stars and really connecting to the stars. I did too. And what I really connect with is the aurora borealis,
Oh, yeah.
because and in times I'll feel myself, I feel very connected to the divine when I'm dancing in the aurora, because it's
Mm,
limitless.
mm, mm.
It's everywhere. Um, so tell me more about your upcoming book,
Oh,
True
yes.
Purpose.
So this is actually the second revised and updated edition. The first edition was out about a decade ago by Tim Kelly, but I'm co-authoring this updated version.
Nice.
We've totally reworked all the methodology from what we've learned about brain science and with our experience with clients and students over the years. So it walks the client or walks the reader through the true purpose process so they don't actually need a coach. There's context, instructions, examples, um, and it's just takes you right through that process all the way through, and you get to connect with your inner wisdom, learn to work with your fears, how to make purpose statements, and then actually a purpose manifestation plan is the most important part because just knowing your purpose doesn't change anything,
Right.
but living it changes everything.
Doing, taking
Hmm,
action.
hmm, hmm.
It really is about taking action and still being open to that inner wisdom
Yes.
to get the guidance and go, oh, have I way overstepped and taken way too much action to the detriment of any other part over here? You know,
Yeah, we often have to kind of dial back, but that's just part of
we
that
do.
rhythm
And
of
that's,
breathing
yeah,
out and bringing
yeah,
back in.
breathing out and breathing in. Um, yeah, and connecting on multiple levels, really connecting with our true self, because we are many parts,
Mm, yeah.
because we have much history, whether it's trauma, whether it's single parenthood, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're all parts of who we are, and
Mm,
they all are part of that internal wisdom, that purpose.
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
otherwise we probably wouldn't have experienced it.
Right. Everything leads and feeds into purpose. Nothing gets
Yeah,
wasted in your life. If you look back on your life, you can see how it all comes toward where you are now with your purpose.
yeah. How it all blends,
Mm.
really
Yeah.
is about blending
Yeah.
and and then blossoming. That's why I
Mm.
love the idea of the lotus
Oh,
blossom
yeah.
because the lotus comes from all the mud and the muck and the challenges of life,
That's true.
and
That's
this
true.
blossoms into this gorgeous flower.
Yeah, that reminds me that, one of my big life lessons is in every difficult challenge is a beautiful gift.
Yes,
And
I
so
agree
there's,
with you
it's like the
100%.
polishing the jewel. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes it takes
yeah,
a while to learn. Like some of them took me a couple years to see the gift, but now I trust it, so I look for the gift early on when there's a big challenge.
that's really beautiful because I love the word challenge instead of um, bad time or
Mm,
negative, any negative word. Because to me, challenge just encourages me to get into curiosity. What is there here for me to learn?
yes,
What
yes,
is there here for me to let go of, maybe?
yes, exactly.
What is
Yeah.
there here for me to transition or transform?
Mm, hmm.
You
Like,
know?
give me goosebumps.
So, how can people contact you if they'd like to learn more
Oh,
from
okay.
you or about you?
Mhm. My website is clearchangegroup.com. And on the bottom of my homepage, I have a purpose alignment quiz. So people can see
Cool.
how aligned is their life with their purpose and then get some tips of how to bridge the gap. It's a wonderful tool.
That's really beautiful. So, clear purpose,
Clear Change Group.
clear change group. Oh, yeah, clearchangegroup.com.
There we go.
That's really beautiful. Thank you so much for being with us, Audrey. It's
Thank you so
been
much
a
for inviting
total
me.
blessing. Is there any final message you'd like to give the audience?
Well, it's just that it's possible to have a voice of inner wisdom that you're regularly in contact with and learn your higher purpose and live it. It's possible for everybody.
It is possible for everybody, and that's what we're here for.
Mm.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you again for having me. It's
Yes,
been
you
wonderful.
are a blessing. And Tim Kelly, you can say hi to him for us too.
Okay, I will.
Anyway, let's take some deep breaths to just come back into where we are in the moment, because it really is about being in the now. And that's part of our purpose, my purpose, anyway. Mm. Thank you so much. You are all blessed and a blessing for all of us. Be well. Take good care.
Bye.